Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 410. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
All that glitters is gold, 'cause only shooting stars break the mold.
Copyright straight. Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo.
Adam Vale.
How you doing?
And Brian Manjoma. Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, Brian? What's up? You know what is Brian's like? Hey, what's up, guys? You know the way he does it.
I thought you were gonna like you sound more like a Beatle. He's like
A Beatle. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
from Liverpool.
Good. All right. Brett's not here, which means no white people. So that means we could act up. You know. You know what's going on, people? Okay, what is going on in chat right now? Who's talking about music inception? Is it me Is it me, or was everyone getting a bit of music inception there for a bit?
Oh, is it because everybody was thinking about Smash Mouth after I said?
No, but he said that before we started. Like, was it something with our intro song, with the Street Fighter song? I don't know.
No.
What's up?
Oh no, I thought they said that they were talking about something else, but no, I guess there was like a cross stream of music thoughts and.
Interesting. They said that there was a glitch with the intro. Okay, I think I know what it is because I had an OBS again doing stupid shit, you know. But it's all right. The intro played two versions of it. Thank you for telling me about that because I selected the intro with no music, but apparently it was the intro with music. I'm not supposed to do that because I want them separate. I want just the video rolling, and then I can just toss in the music when I want. All right. Thank you for letting me know that. I always appreciate the feedback. Without further ado, let's get into some questions, man. We starting off here with mob hits. Is it concerning that Sony or PlayStation had 0 showcases this year? Can we expect the same next year as well? Like we told you guys, what are we going to be showing off? There's no fucking games. You know, what are we gonna get? Spider-Man again? We're gonna Wolverine again? Those games aren't getting ready to be shown yet. You know?
Nope. And they don't. They're essentially just don't have anything of note to show. Oh yeah, we had a showcase this year. It was just the Resident Evil showcase.
Yeah,
that was it.
Like the way I see it, the PlayStation had a bunch of those PlayStation Directs, right? Whatever the fuck they're called. There you go. You got plenty of those this year. So you should be happy with that, you know.
I think, I just feel like they're like, I mean, I definitely do feel that sort of thing. Like, see, what's going on? What are we getting? What's going on? And it's just a lot of these sort of mediocre, video things they keep doing. So,
Logic wins. What's going on, man? He goes, Spider-Man should be coming out by next year. Maybe we get a spring 2023 showcase. I highly doubt that game's going to come out next year. I don't see that happening.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like I'd be much better if it comes out when it comes out. I don't,
Yeah, I don't think that's happening this year. No way. The other part of the question was, will we not get a showcase next year? Who knows? Who knows, man? Hard to say.
Who knows?
Yeah, again, a lot. I feel like we didn't get as many showcases as we had in the past because of COVID.
Yeah,
you know, usually it's sort of just a big gathering of different developers and people into one space. But yeah, I mean, there is the biggest factor of them all, where it's like Tony mentions, they don't really have games to show, so there's really no point in having those. So might as well just do those small directs and push whatever they do have. The PSVR 2 scraps, I guess.
Yeah, right. But again, you know, what are you going to have in the showcase? There's not really much to talk about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm not surprised they didn't have any this year. Didn't Insomniac say it was on track to launch next year's Spider-Man? Who knows? If they did, I don't know, but I'm skeptical about that. I've said this many times. I don't trust release dates anymore. I don't. This generation has taught me never to trust release dates. Don't even trust when a game goes gold, you know? Remember when a game going gold meant, okay, that's it, we're good, we don't have to worry anymore. Nope, that's not the case anymore.
If Cyberpunk didn't show us anything.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, not much to say about showcases. Who knows? We'll see. Next question here. The nominees for Game of the Year 2022 will be announced tomorrow. This is for the Jeff Keighley show. Which games can we expect to see nominated?
There's always the obvious one, Elden Ring.
God of War, Elden Ring.
So does God of War meet the criteria?
It does. It came out before December. Yeah.
Oh, yep. So God of War's got to be in there.
Let's look this up because I honestly don't know what other games came out this year.
I
that were
thought
good.
was
That were good.
close. I thought if it was a month before, it didn't count. Wasn't that the whole thing with Guardians?
No, with December. If it comes out in December, it doesn't count. Anything before December counts.
There's always a token indie game that's always there.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe that fucking Vampire Saviors or whatever.
That's been. I think that's been. Oh yeah, it's been out a long time though.
Yeah.
It's been on Steam Greenlight.
I'm sorry. Horizon Forbidden West ain't getting no nomination. You know.
Well, it might. There's not that much competition, I guess.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's like it'll get a nomination just by default. Like, what came out this year was fucking dead. Like I keep telling people.
Pokemon, maybe. I don't know. Has that been
Atreus?
Yeah, Arceus. Yeah. Atreus.
He doesn't call him boy anymore.
Oh, he's
hey.
What?
What's it called?
Video trailer. You see an older dude.
Chill out, guys.
He's not.
All right, let's see.
That's not a spoiler.
Yeah,
that's Ring. Like, doesn't look like him.
Now you don't motherfucker. You're smiling.
Elden
Ring, God of War.
Sony spoiled that shit from the box.
God of War, Horizon.
I'm looking around right now. Dope Sports. They I don't know who the fuck these people are. Cult of the Lamb. Never heard of it.
What?
Stray, is that Game of the Year nominee worthy?
That's the cat. That's the cat game. It's my game.
If you're gonna add that, then you gotta put the Turtles. Turtles gotta win. If you're gonna count those type of games.
Yeah, Horizon. Carlos, I think you're right. He's probably getting nominated by default. You know,
people are mentioning in the chat GT7, Kirby, Sifu.
Kirby.
Yeah,
really
maybe Sifu.
Sifu didn't have the legs though. People got tired of that shit quick.
What is what's that that game that came out that Brian likes? That might get nominated. The one that looks like shit, but it plays good.
That's a lot of games now. Like that again, that fucking Vampire Survivors game. I'm like, this is what you motherfuckers hyping? Really? Okay.
This is King.
I mean, it's one of those things like One Finger Death Punch. It looks simple too, but once you start playing it, you get hooked. Man, this is one of the best games I've ever played. Love that game.
Better than The Division, though?
It's up there.
Kirby, okay. Sifu, Stray. Bayonetta 3, after that ending, people ain't happy about that ending. You know?
Oh!
Xenoblade 3, I will be very surprised if that gets nominated. Like, hardcore JRPGs don't get nominated. Correct me if I'm wrong, you know?
I wonder if Bayonetta's going to get nominated for voice acting category.
That would be such a slap in the face to Jim.
Oh, man. What do you guys think would be the best RPG of what RPGs came out this year besides Xenoblade? You know?
Well, there's all the Rico games that came out.
That's right. If Rico said, "Hey man, let me tell you," you know, Rico was telling me he was swamped with games. You know, Elden Ring is an RPG. Is an RPG. Yeah.
And then there's all these action RPG hybrids, and they always get thrown in.
Yeah, but if you're gonna say that, then Horizon and God of War kind of technically fall within
that. There you go.
Everything is an RPG now. If you really Call of Duty's an RPG, if you think about it, you know.
Yeah, it's always has been. If you think, if you really go,
because everything rips off RPG mechanics.
Yeah,
you know?
You have to level up. Up your weapons now. It's not just like, I just got a machine gun. No, now you got to level that shit up and get attached.
Yeah. I don't know. This year, it's hard to even come up with no games. You know,
there's tons of games. You just don't like the game.
I'm talking about Game of the Year worthy. Like, those are a certain category. You know,
Game of the Year.
All right, Adam. Since there's so many games, name them. What are going to be the nominees for Game of the Year?
For me,
not for you. For this show.
I don't know. There's a bunch of foreigners out there that play Elden Ring and shit. I don't play that. So to me, that doesn't.
Man.
I'm just.
I played Elden Ring.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know that.
Yeah, Elden Ring and God of War for sure will be nominated.
See, but the God of no,
It
I
will
know
be. You know
because I
that.
haven't played it. It'll be nominated. I don't know.
That's
if
what I'm
it'll
saying.
win it.
Remember, we're not going with what we
it'll-
want. We're going with the actual likely nominees will be.
And it's gonna be those two for sure.
Yeah.
The Elden Ring, the other one. They want to make Nintendo happy, so they got to throw a Bayonetta.
They may, yeah, they may. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
They always have to throw in a Nintendo there.
Maybe they'll, yeah, you're right.
By the way, the Bayonetta voice actress is gonna win this award because Jeff Keighley will do anything in his fucking power to create a moment for his show. Mark that down. That's not even a Miss Cleo moment.
Miss Cleo moment.
If you throw in something that's new and innovative when it comes to the art style and presentation at Dust Falls, I can see that being nominated. That was that Microsoft exclusive one with the still frame cell shaded, but then it had like effects, movement, the story, different paths. It was deep. So if they want to get with that creative award, something new, that was a new approach. I don't know. Because I mean, for my game of the year, I already know what it is.
It's Call of Duty. All right, let's move on.
No. It's WWE 2K22, the revival. That game was so bad in 20 that they had to skip 21. They just blanked out a whole year. And when it came out swinging. That shit is solid. Awesome.
So I do have 3 locks for sure. Like these are gonna be there. It's Elden Ring, it's God of War, it's Pokemon Arceus. I think those 3 are for sure gonna be locked in to be nominated for Game of the Year. I forgot is there always like 4 or 5 nominees? I always
think
forget.
it's 6, to be honest.
Oh shit. Well, if it's 6, we got 3. Bayonetta.
What about that Overwatch 2? That's a new game. People like playing that shit.
Yeah, see, people are. All right, let's move on. I don't want to give this shit any more fucking air. Moving on here.
We'll give it enough air when we react to it.
Yeah, when we react to the fucking
we're
show.
all laughing at it.
Yeah. All right. Next question for Mr. Mob Hits: should Sony adopt DirectX for the PS6? Interesting question. What will be the benefit of this? Is my question.
Yeah, I don't know. It's up to the
DirectX is
studios
an Xbox. It's a Microsoft thing, you know.
Yeah, wouldn't that mean the PS6 will have to run Windows?
Yeah.
Windows, yeah.
Then it would be an Xbox because the whole reason why Xbox was called Xbox is because it was
Direct
built on
Xbox.
DirectX.
Yeah.
So
That was the name,
okay.
Direct Xbox. Yeah.
So
Probably not. Listen,
Yeah.
It's out of principle.
It doesn't need to.
Yeah.
They don't need to run Windows on this fucking thing. You know.
That's
Even what is it? Apple's new thing. They're not even running DirectX. They have their own proprietary.
Oh, they have Metal.
thing.
They have
Yeah,
their
they
own
have
library.
Metal,
They have Metal.
All right, man. Moving on here. Who is this?
Oh,
This is Eurocar 9 sponsoring Adam, apparently.
shit.
Is anyone hyped for next week's Call of Duty open world mode?
Yeah, DMZ. Is anybody hyped in the chat?
And I never even heard of this.
Oh,
I didn't know.
That's the DMZ. There you go. The demilitarization zone. It's basically
Demilitarized zone.
escape mode. Yeah, so it's escape mode. Think of best way to describe it. There's a game that a lot of people. I haven't played it. This was a escape from Tuvok, something like that. But the principle is that it's open world with different mission goals, objectives. Select loot, but try to elite the area, sort of like the Division Dark, but there's no helicopter. At least not that I've seen. You actually have to get out of the area, but there's other players. You can play either 1, 2, or 3 in a group. You don't if you play by yourself. There will be other groups. The goal is to go in there in an open world setting and just complete normal missions. Other type of game mode, the hostage rescue, take down certain targets, and there's all kinds of things going on. And open time, you have all the players, so it's really interesting. And their goal is to make this their version of an open world to see if it works out. Now, this is launching Wars 2 next week. It'll be one of the modes. It's in beta. They even came out and said, "Yeah, this is not finished. Still building on it." Plan on the huge open world, There's some gameplay already out there. Some streamers were invited to board last week. They were allowed to stream it, so it looked interesting. Definitely looked interesting. It's early, but I'm excited to jump in there, and also that's going to be free to play. So that's another big deal for a lot of people that they jump into this world, and I'm sure it'll fill up just from that alone. Now, it comes down to what you get from open rewards. There's a lot of items to be able to obtain, and once you get out with that item, that carries over to multiplayer and your other modes. So there's a chance that you find a rare weapon that you haven't upgraded to in multiplayer, but you'll find that gun over in the DMZ and you can export it out and play with it later. So it's pretty cool. And then, of course, there's going to be some custom skins and icons and weapons and camos and all kinds of stuff, just exclusive. Check. So pretty much it's a way of playing co-op with your buddies to do all kinds of stuff without having to pay. So sounds cool. We'll see. We'll see if it actually pans out. But that's their future. If that works, then there you go. They got something.
Do Call of Duty fans get lost of all the stuff that comes out with Call of Duty?
It gets divided. That's the thing. Like a lot of people that I played Call of Duty with are stuck in different modes. Some just like, I just play zombies, so I'm not getting that new Call of Duty. What the hell? Then other people, my brother playing Warzone. We jump into the multiplayer. They're hyped for the Warzone. Okay, I get that. But then there's some people that just like playing multiplayer. That's where I fall in. Kill confirmed. Person now, invasion cool, and ground wars. It's fun. So it's divided right now. So I think it's cool that they're adding this DMZ open world as something free, because I don't know if anybody off the bat would pay to do it. Maybe later on they'll just get out. Some people thinking that they're going to try to the mainstay and its own thing. That sounds massive. It's an open world. It's going to want to have got the map of one big world that we have it now. He said that expanding to other ones and to other areas. We have seasons and other modes. I mean, they this could be its own game altogether, not just a mode. It could just be Call of Duty DMZ, and that could be the thing. But it's interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. And that launches on the 16th. So, yep, DMZ.
Cool.
So if anybody's in the chat excited for that,
it seems nobody in the chat.
Nobody's
Nobody cares about Call of Duty.
The one thing, that's the thing is, you see, care about Call of Duty, but it's completely different now with this. So maybe people that are into that type of play, I know my issue in this, Tony, we played Dark Zone, is that what's stopping people from camping for the extraction point? Remember, there's people that could just run, they'll wait for you to get all the loot. Once you get it, pop up a backpack, like what happened in Division. We got the canisters, that type of deal happens, and then you try to extract. So what's stopping people to camp in those areas and then pop you off? And big wars just happen. That's my main concern. We'll see how that pans out. I know in Division 2, the way they fixed that, put turrets. Remember those turrets that were there? So people can't attack. You're at the turret here on spawn points. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Moving on here. Kishak. All right. His question is, do you think PC gamers nowadays know that the PC Master Race moniker created by Yahtzee of zero punctuation was supposed to be an insult making fun of PC gamer elitism? The fact that they latched onto it with no regard for how that name sounds to people not in on the joke says something, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure they know where it came from. They just like the
They don't care. It has a new meaning. It's like certain words. So many words that we say now have new meanings, and now from the original.
Yeah.
So
Brian, are you around? Because you could probably answer this better than anyone.
I am around, and I had a really good intro, but I'll save it for the outro.
Okay, good. Anyway, what do you think about this question?
Yeah, they all know it's a joke. That's kind of like the whole point. But then from there, it like developed into people that actually said like, "Hey, there's enough people that enjoy PC gaming. Let's make it like an actual community and people that care about stuff like this." And that's what it is. So I guess you could say it started out as a joke, and then people like accepted that, hey, you know what, it's just a giant joke, so let's just make it even a bigger joke. And then they kind of found themselves around people that think, hey, we all like gaming on PCs. PCs are great, and that's it. So,
What do you think about the implication that, at least as far as this question is concerned, that they think of themselves as better than other people, and obviously the history of master race,
It's 2023. Words had different meanings every single year, so I don't put much weight into that. I mean, how many times is certain words going to be redefined this year? I have no idea. So
sick. Could be a positive.
Again, I think it's all just part of the big joke. Like, the whole point is that I think Yahtzee intended, again, as we all know, Yahtzee intended to mock people like that. So people like that were like, hey, you know what? Rather than sit there and be offended that we're being mocked, let's just accept the mocking. And again, it's like, how do you defang any insult? You just accept it and then you look back at them. Like,
it's true.
Every insult can be just written out of the water by saying, okay, yeah, that's me. Now what? There's nothing else that can be said afterwards. So to me, this just seems like all the guys just said, you know what? Yeah, we are master race. Now what? By not defending it, they've just accepted it, and then they've defused the whole threat and the insult off the whole term. And to me, that's them just owning it and saying, yeah, you can't say anything that annoys us. Which for the most part, you really can't. Which is weird.
Yeah.
And
right.
This is the part where Brett chimes in.
If you accept it, they can't harm you with it,
Exactly.
What was that? What was that thing that Tyrion said? It's like, use the insults as armor, and they can never hurt you. Something along those lines.
Yeah, he told it to Jon Snow on the top of the wall.
Yeah. What was the exact line? How did the line go? Remember?
I forgot. It was because he kept calling him bastard, and he's like, "Don't let it bother you." It's like, whatever doesn't bother you makes you stronger or something. Yeah. I think you said it better than I did.
Yeah, he just said, use the thing they use against you as armor. That way they can never hurt you with it. Something along those lines. Yeah, okay, yeah. I think the whole PC Master Race thing is fun, personally. Because it's like, I always call PC gamers like Grey Poupon gamers. Like, look at us, we're better than you. I think that's hilarious. Because it makes sense too. You spent $2,000 on a
That's what I'm saying.
You're gonna think you're better than other people. It makes sense. It's like, look at these fucking plebes, a $500 console, my ass. I paid $3,000 for my shit. You piece of shit. Like, I understand that. So why not just go with it? It's hilarious. All right. Anybody else have a take on PC Master Race?
Mm-mm.
All right. Moving on here. Who is this? Another one. Who is this Romudeath guy? Asking questions on the show. Centered around questions. So his one is kind of simple. Chris, can you give us a more detailed breakdown of Nintendo's recent financials? And can you tell us what it says about Nintendo's the Switch and the future of its console sales? So that's a two-part question.
Yeah. So, all right, I took a look, a little deeper look into their financial summary. I finally got to read the Q&A from their presentation, which I usually skip those because I just look at the numbers and I look at the sales data and all that stuff. But this time I was like, let me look at this Q&A and let me see if I can glean something from it, because the way they answer questions is usually an indicator of what they're doing. And with Nintendo, you can't read it straight, right? Some companies they'll just tell you what's going on, right? And some won't. They'll obscure stuff or they'll hide stuff. But Nintendo speaks in vagaries. And based on how they speak, then you can kind of say, okay, so from what you're saying, I'm going to interpret it this way, because I kind of know how they think a little bit. I mean, I've been gone a long time from there, but I kind of know how, being in marketing, how they put those comments out to the world. And I'm like, all right, so from what I remember, I'm going to say, either yes, you're going to do something, no, you're not going to do something, or something's not as it seems. and they never give a straight answer. That's the basics of it. So I put some notes out.
So one of the investors should be like, so how come you never give us straight answers?
Yeah, right.
All right, let me put this up. All right. I'll let you know.
You're not.
Come on. Do math. Oh, I just got a exclamation point here.
Oh, it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work.
It's like it's on the spinning blocks right now for me.
That's weird. Let me try it
Chris,
again.
just stop it and start it again, I guess.
Stop it. I'll do it again.
Hiccups.
Oh wait, my whole thing froze.
Oh no. Discord fucking up. Uh-oh. Dun, dun,
Did,
dun,
did it affect him too?
I don't know. Chris, are you there, sir? Oh shit! Damn, damn. Discord does not like Chris. You know. Wait, we're gonna try this again. This time we win. All right. Give it another shot, sir.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you do a live show, people. Some things may not work as intended. All right, let's try this again.
Discord was mad.
Okay.
Got big mad. All right. Is that working?
I don't think it's gonna work again because I'm getting that weird orange exclamation point. You see that on your end?
All right, that's weird.
Discord.
What the fuck?
Huh?
Why am I getting? What the fuck? All right. I was getting asked how the stream went. I'm like, I didn't end the fucking thing. Here's the thing, though. If you pick anything, because they give you 3 little like emojis. If you don't pick the happiest one, it'll ask you why you didn't pick the happiest one. So I picked the happiest one. I picked the happiest one. He's get it to shut up.
All right. Yeah. It's Discord is not happy.
All right.
with
I
me
guess
right
you have
now.
to just.
So I'll talk through it.
Yeah, you talk through it. Yeah.
Okay. So when asked in their Q&A what they would do to boost sales and user count and whatever and going into the next fiscal year, so they said in the answer that they are relying heavily on holiday sales. The only titles I saw coming out for the holidays, like I mentioned before on the Thursday show, was Pokemon. So they're leaning again this year on Pokemon holiday sales. And they've been leaning on Pokemon for the last like 3 fiscal years to carry them through the holidays and boost software sales. But software sales are not the main problem, as I noted before. It's that their hardware sales are falling, right? So they're having falling hardware sales. And the biggest impact on their hardware sales is the Nintendo Switch Lite is really dropped off. And the reason for that is you have the OLED system, right, come out, and then so the main system drops, but the Lite system, probably many people don't see a need for it. It's the most inferior version of the Switch now out currently. Even though they're all essentially the same hardware, you have now a system you can't dock that was really made for little kids to play. It probably has the most adoption it's going to have, and people want the better screen. They want the superior Switch. And they even noted in one of the other answers that the OLED, many of the people who bought it was to replace a Switch that they currently had. So it wasn't an additional Switch. I think 30% of them they said was additional, but that means 70% is a replacement. So, that means people were just dumping the old Switch or probably reselling it and then getting the OLED Switch. But and then they went back to, because of semiconductor shortages and whatnot, the sales have fallen. I'm like, I don't quite buy that too much, because I think if people really wanted to get their hands on a Switch, they would settle for the main system. And I don't see that as a driver. And they didn't say it was the only factor. They just said one of the factors, which I'm like, okay, you're not mentioning the other factors. And I think it's that you're now at a life to date number, I think just above 114 million Switches sold worldwide, right? So you've surpassed the Wii now, right? And you're kind of past the PS4. Um, and you're just hitting that peak, right? And what you'd have to sell like another 10 million systems, and I think they'd catch the PS2. I'm not sure. I have to look at that. I don't remember, Tony, if you remember the PS2
I could look it up.
max life to date, but I think it's like they're 10 to 12 million away, which is admirable. But once you're getting to the top of the mountain, right, which the PS2 has owned for multiple console generations.
158 million.
Okay, so I was off. So they'd have to sell approximately 44 million additional Switches to tie the PS2. Okay, so that's way off. But you crested they beat the Wii by about 12 million, right? So they're 12 million above the Wii, which was the top one, for them in consoles. So you're hitting the saturation point, and they have to figure out what to do. So the investor questions made sense. It's like, what do you plan to do? And then they were mentioning the software titles, like, okay, Pokemon, and then the only two titles they mentioned for next year. I was shocked they didn't mention Fire Emblem, right? I was like, okay, and I know it's in each title they didn't. It's not really talked about much in their multi-million seller charts that they put up. I looked in past reports; they don't really mention. They didn't mention Three Houses or whatever, and they have Engage coming on January. They didn't mention it. They only mentioned Zelda. I mean, Breath of the Wild is on that multi-million-dollar chart. I think to date it has sold almost 28 million units. It sold in the last this report for the first half of the fiscal year. It sold over 1 million. And it launched with the system, right? It's an old game, right, by now. So Switch is almost 6 years old, and it still sold 1 million. So that there's a ton of hype for Zelda. There's plenty of fans. There's people waiting for this game to come out, so they mentioned it. But then they mentioned as the other big title they're looking forward to this year was Pikmin 4, and I was like shocked. It's like, really? I don't think anybody asking for a Pikmin sequel. And I was like, they didn't mention Bayonetta 3. They didn't mention Metroid Prime 4. They didn't mention anything else. They said, oh, Pikmin 4. I'm like, that's odd. And it's like that's supposed to boost investor confidence in strong titles. Like that's going to help you increase software sales. I'm like, that's not going to be a real multi-million-dollar seller. You're going to have there's Pikmin fans, sure, and there are people who pick it up, and it's like it's a very safe game. Huh?
They'll pick Pikmin.
Well, I mean, you could get kids or whatever, but it's going to launch mid-year. It's not a holiday title, and so I found that really odd. And then the omission of the other titles I mentioned, I was like, well, okay, so Bayonetta 3 has a hard date now, but you didn't mention it. And so Metroid Prime 4, I'm going to assume, is probably not coming out next year, which is also weird. It's like, not even a word of it. And what else didn't I mention that's getting a movie next year, but no mention of a game is Mario? Now, why wouldn't they mention that to investors? But I'm thinking they didn't mention it because Nintendo plays things very close to the chest and they're very insular. So I'm thinking if they do announce a Mario game, it probably be around the launch of the movie. But that's complete speculation. They could say nothing, right? They could because they're now talking about their IP initiatives. A big part of the financial supplement for this report was all about IP initiatives, which is, what are we doing on mobile? What are we doing with? They call it visual content, and visual content is this upcoming movie, right? And then theme parks, the Super Nintendo World stuff they're doing with Universal, and merchandise, so licensing. So they're licensing like crazy now. They got this big deal with Lego. They mentioned that there was a whole page on their Lego deal. There's a whole big page about Super Nintendo World. They talk about the movie. They're talking about mobile, but it's like these things are them branching out, right? So they're trying to pad, or they're trying to hedge their bets outside of just Switch, and that seems to me is like a little problematic. They're like, hey, look over here. We have all these exciting things going on. It's like, yes, but for gamers, those things are not important. So you're licensing to Lego. I don't care, right? I want to know what you have coming up in terms of games, how you're going to push the Switch or whatever. What's going to make me keep playing the Switch? Like, how are you going to keep user engagement? And B, how are you going to convince people to either get Nintendo Switch Online or keep it? That's a problem for them too. It's like, even though the Nintendo Switch Online, to their user base increased, right? They said they have plenty of people who are lapsing, right? So your growth is just outpacing people who lapsed. People are like, this is not worth it anymore, right? And they probably are either not finding too much value with the nostalgic content, like the whatever their like virtual console thing is, so you could play classic games, or people are finding alternatives, right? You could do emulation and whatnot. And so what else is left? It's like the multiplayer games, but a lot of those are either too competitive, like, people are not going to just jump on them unless you're a Smash Brothers fan. You're not going to jump on Smash Bros. Ultimate or Splatoon 3. You may play that for a little while and go, and then so you're not engaging people enough with multiplayer content that's more accessible, and you're not managing the nostalgia factor enough to keep engagement with that stuff. So basically the questions were like, what else you got? And they went, well, we have exciting stuff happening. And it's like, well, that's not an answer. It's very vague. And I think that they know that, especially with the hardware sales, that they have a little bit of problems going into next year. And I hate that they don't just say what they're going to lean on in terms of software, because software pushes the hardware, and their software sales were very good. But in order to continue that and not have that stagnate, because you have to outpace yourself, right, every year, or else investors are going to get pissed off.
Yeah.
They lowered their projection of hardware sales. They lowered it by 2 million units for this fiscal year, and they said the next fiscal year they're also lowering it, right? So they know their hardware sales are not going to meet, and they might not even meet that projection, the one that they lowered. So you're like, okay, well, that's troubling. So how are you going to increase that? And they go, well, we have exciting things in the works. And, and that's what I read into from a lot of their answers. So one thing, so I talked about the lack of engagement. They said, so one guy asked, and he had a really good question. He said, okay, so the yen has been depreciating for a while. Do you think it would be prudent to lower the price of the hardware in order to boost sales and prolong the life of the system? I thought that was a very good question, because that makes sense. It makes total sense. Like, if you do a price reduction, you'll have increased sales, because there'll be less of a barrier to entry for people to get in. In the Western markets, we have high inflation, whatever. But if you lower the price, you could still get people spending the money on the system, because they don't see it as a barrier, like, oh, I got to budget myself and I can't really spend that much on entertainment. And especially when you have competition in the market, it's like, well, I have if I buy one system, what's it going to be? And you make that choice a little easier with the price drop. And they basically said no. In a long-winded response, the answer was, and I'm like, oh my, of course, the counterintuitive thing, it's like, oh, we're making no changes to how we operate, even though the yen's depreciated and our hardware sales are falling. This definitely hurts our margins, we're not going to change the price of the system. I'm like, of course you're not. So, you know, and, and I was like, this guy makes a really good point. I read the question. I'm like, man, that's a really good point. And the answer, no, they're not going to do it. And they were
it would
asked
make too
about.
much sense. That's why.
Yeah, it's completely counterintuitive because they look at it as a short-term game, and I'm like, no, you're missing a point. It's a long-term gain because you increase the life cycle of the system, and we don't know what they're doing for next-gen Nintendo hardware.
But Chris,
we don't
remember,
know.
this is a company that doesn't even like to put their games on sale. They don't even like to lower the price. Their launch games are still $60 on the eShop.
Yes, I know. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has not seen a price drop. Like the Zelda is still the same price. It launched the system. It's still the same price. They absolutely don't like to do sales. But here's the thing. This is not me saying this, right? This is not me saying, hey, Nintendo, you should do this. This is not some random YouTuber. It's not an influencer. This is an investor question, right? So the stuff I'm reading here is from investors. These are people who are bought into the stock who have a seat at the table and saying this. And they still said they're not doing it. So,
Wow.
There was and there was one other good question too about backwards compatibility, saying that is there thinking for the next gen after the Switch to keep it compatible with Switch games, so that the library is already there, and maybe to keep using cartridge base and whatnot. And in a long-winded answer that came from Miyamoto himself, the answer was basically like, we do what we want and probably not, right? So that's what I interpreted from it, because if you can go back and look at the history of the systems, and they've not been backwards compatible except for when you got to the Wii, right? The Wii was just using GameCube hardware that was overclocked, and the Wii U was using Wii hardware that was overclocked, and added memory and whatnot, so they could also play the previous system's games. So the Wii could play GameCube games, the Wii U could play Wii and GameCube games, right? But that hasn't happened before or since, right? N64 couldn't play Super Nintendo games and whatnot. The handhelds were a different story, but that has gone away. The Switch is the only system, and the Switch only plays itself and what they decide to put on the online, and that's it. So, and here's the thing: Nintendo is not loyal to any hardware provider. So right now they're using NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA made their SoC based on the Tegra. They have used AMD for the past 3 systems. The N64 used Silicon Graphics. The Super Nintendo went with some custom solution. I don't know if it was like Toshiba or somebody who made the graphics for that. And I know Sony did the sound system. But they are not loyal to any one person. It's whatever they decide is going to suit them best and keep costs low is who they're going to go with. So if AMD went to them with a better proposal, they would jump ship immediately and go to them. Or if Intel did, or whoever, right? It doesn't matter. So if it's not an NVIDIA-based system, I'd say kiss that backwards compatibility goodbye. Or even if they maybe stick with NVIDIA and NVIDIA makes them another custom solution and they decide it's too difficult to keep the backwards compatibility, or they want to use a different physical media, or make it completely digital, then if it's completely digital, all your physical media on the Switch, that's out. And you'll have to rely on them again to provide the digital store to work with all the Switch games that they currently have. So he gave this answer that was basically like, Nintendo always strives blah blah blah, and we're progressing stuff. So, basically don't count on it. Don't count on backwards compatibility. So, I mean, while that doesn't affect numbers right now, it does affect thinking in the future. Like, to investors may not like that answer, because if they're thinking like, hey, if you keep your current library working on the next system, that could help it sell. which is what I took from the question, which is
But
a
they
very
see,
good point.
Plus, if they look at the other companies in the market, backward compatibility is what's keeping them afloat. If the PS5 and the Series X were like, hey, no backward compatibility, what do you got then?
I know, Adam, but you are looking at other systems and what they're doing.
Nintendo
does not look. They do not care what Microsoft's doing with Xbox. They don't care that the Xbox can have backwards compatibility across the board, and they don't care like, oh, okay, Sony has the last PS4 games work on the PS5, and they have PS3 through Gaikai and all that stuff. They don't care. They don't care about that. They just look forward, and whatever is going to suit them at the time, they will switch to it. And if they can't make it work, the backwards compatibility, they will drop it in a second. So that was the answer. And I think that's not a good answer. He tried to hedge it a little bit, but I was like, no, you're not giving people confidence when you answer a question like that. Let's see what else. So, I mean, my takeaway from this is they need to really talk about their first party options besides Zelda, and they didn't. I mean, just saying like, oh, we're relying on Zelda and Pikmin 4 for the first half of next year. I'm like, really? Well, Zelda, yes, that's great. And then Pikmin, okay. And then nothing else after that. I don't know what their plans are because there's a bunch of titles that they had in the report that was TBD. Metroid Prime 4 was TBD. I forgot there was a couple others that were just TBD. Even Pikmin 4 doesn't have a definitive date. It just says 2023. And that that to me is a little troubling. It's like there's not a lot I'm confident in this report. Where if I was sitting there and I had a seat at that table, where I'd be like, I'm not seeing anything here that's like making me feel better going into the next fiscal year, and that you're going to improve things or that you're going to beat your expectations. You're already lowering projections for hardware. So, and I haven't heard like, oh, our software lineup is great and here it is. Like, I don't hear any of that. So my takeaway from this is, and I did say this on Thursday, they need to talk about software options. They need to, and then with the Switch Online, which I didn't talk about, the N64 titles, it's like, you need to do more than that with this with this expansion pass and the options for the library for getting the virtual console and getting nostalgia players, not only to sign up but to keep them, because they have a problem keeping them. If you're only there for that library, then that's the people are probably lapsing because they're not playing Smash Brothers or Splatoon or Mario Kart 8, so these are problems that they're going to have, and that's going to hurt them, long term going into the next year. And their hardware sales are still year over year falling. So it's like, what? So you have no software announcements to stem that. Then it's just going to keep falling, and that's going to be a problem. So they may, and I'll see. But the main fiscal year report, when I do that, it's probably in April of next year, what their projections are, because they may lower it again. And then if they lower it again, that's a troubling sign. So that's my prediction, is their hardware sales are falling, and I don't know if they're going to wait till they're in like a real, it's kind of optically bad for them to go, oh, Switch Pro, we're going to announce Switch Pro now, we're great, or something else. I don't know. All I know is that there was a lot of talk after I read the Q&A, and then I went through some of the numbers. The rest of the report is all about their IP initiatives. It's like, we're branching out to all these things, guys. Isn't this great? We're going to be in Universal, and we're look at this Lego deal, look at these mobile games. And I'm like, oh, man. To investors, that seems good, but then I'm like, from my perspective or from regular gamers' perspective, it's like, well, I don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know what Nintendo's going to do next year, but That's some shady shit to be saying to their investors, though. No straight answers. It's just like wishy-washy nonsense. But what do we expect from the company?
Yeah, that's how they are. I didn't expect a really straight answer. They're not going to say like, "Hey, no, we're not going to have backwards compatibility," because Miyamoto, I mean, he's the creative director there, so he has knowledge of what's going on in all those aspects, and he always will. I mean, even though they gave him the window seat to manage the IP stuff, he would still know internally what the technology division is doing and what they're developing. So I would think his vague answer would sort of lean towards like, we want to keep users engaged and blah blah blah, and he would phrase it in such a way where I'd be like, okay, that's almost positive, so yes, there'll probably be backwards compatibility. But the answer he gave, I was like, I don't have confidence that whatever they're thinking of or going with right now doesn't look good. That may not have backwards compatibility, and that would suck.
Yeah, but it probably won't. This is Nintendo here, Let's be honest. All right, good stuff, Chris. Thanks for that. Ramida thanks you. I'm pretty sure. All right, moving on here to Meki. First question: how have you evolved as a gamer? He has a little story here for us. This may be different for people depending on when they started. I started in the mid '80s, so it was play to death anything I get my hands on, no matter if it was good or bad. '90s arcades became my happy place, and gaming became more social with more friends owning consoles and organizing gaming sessions at each other's houses. Lines were also drawn, and you had to pick a side, although most of us owned multiple systems. Nowadays, I'm very picky about what games I purchase and how I spend my time due to dad life and other responsibilities. Getting my daughter involved is my latest phase where I love playing co-op games with her. So I guess there's long and short of it is, how have you evolved as a gamer throughout the years?
It's funny. For me, the only thing that's really changed is my time, the amount of time that I've actually had to play games. I've always been fairly picky about what games I played, and this goes back to even when I was younger too. So, I mean, my habits are still somewhat the same, except I just don't have nearly as much time to play.
Yeah, that's pretty much me. They haven't really changed. I've always been somewhat picky about games. Like, the games cost money. You can't just play everything. That's why I've gotten mad when I have fucked up those few times and I have to sell a game. I'm like, I don't want this shit in my house. But that's very rare, But yeah, no, that's pretty much how it is. Time isn't as bountiful now, and also, there's just not a lot of games that interest me. I've gotten to that stage where like I realized my gaming bubble is small is because I don't like many games. Like I played all this type of stuff and none of it really does it for me anymore. So I'm very selective, and thankfully, since game reviews are not my main thing anymore, I could be selective about what games I get to review. Thankfully I never have to review any more indie games again. No more racing games. I'm good, But yeah, I'm very picky now. Especially now, I don't have time. Like I used to, when I was freelance, I would play whenever the fuck I wanted. Now it's only like maybe 2 hours every weekday. On the weekends, I go ham. But even then, it's like, do I want to play a game or do I want to do something else? I still like games. Obviously, it's just we're adults. Things are different now. What about you, Adam? How has things changed for you as a young gamer to old gamer?
Not much. Just time. That's all it is. Just time management. Drinking a lot more coffee. My kids get involved. My son likes Lego game, Minecraft.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, your mic been cutting off.
I don't know. I'm next to it. I don't know. Probably not doing anything.
Yeah, we'll have to figure this shit out.
We gotta.
You keep whispering when you do this again.
It could be my Discord. Maybe I have to sign in and sign out again.
Well, whatever it is, we got to figure it out before the finale of I Am Negan or of The Walking Dead.
Okay. Well, All right, so do you hear me now? No, you don't hear me.
I mean, keep talking. We'll see what
Sound good.
happens.
I don't know. All right, so no. Either way, it hasn't really changed.
Yeah.
It's just time management. That's all. That's time and getting everybody else involved, and they are involved. So that's it. But I still play almost everything. Like jump around.
Oh, this is interesting. So Tumeke, he's in the chat. He goes, during the 360 and Xbox PS4 days, it was his MP phase, but now he's all about SP and stuff he could play with his daughter. I never cared for multiplayer games like that, so that hasn't changed either. I've always been a single player guy. I don't care for multiplayer too much. Like I like co-op, when we play Division or whatever, Monster Hunter, but like straight up multiplayer, I never cared for that stuff. Yeah, my tastes haven't really changed, so which is, like good or bad, I guess, good. But I do get annoyed when people go, oh, you need to try different things. I have tried it. I don't like it. Like, what the fuck you want me to do? It's like, I don't like fish. You want me to keep eating fish? Maybe one day I'll finally like it. No, it's not going to work like that. Everybody has different tastes, You should open your horizons. Fuck you. I have. I don't like it. Stupid.
You're just more violent about it now.
I'm not more violent. I'm more to the point. Actually, I was probably more violent about it back then. I'm just like, no, I don't like it.
No.
Oh, Tony, try this roguelike. I tried roguelikes. They suck. I don't like them.
The thing about it, all the people that keep suggesting you games don't understand what you fucking like. It's like, oh, here, go play this sports game. Why? In what dimension? Oh. Okay, Adam just quit out.
Tony, you should try this FIFA game. You should try this Call of Duty game. Do you not know me?
Yeah.
I've played these games. I don't care. They're not for me. Yeah.
Exactly. Obviously, like you are in general, you are the best person to tell what you will and won't like. And if it's not interesting you, here's the thing. If something does come, here's the thing. If something does come on that does strike your interest that would normally, you try it out.
Yeah.
But those things haven't struck your interest, so you're not playing them, right?
Yeah. I think the problem is, not to go too off topic, most people don't know what they really like, so they're kind of wishy-washy. I know exactly what I like, I know what I like. I'm very firm in what I like and what I don't like. Most people aren't. They're kind of wishy-washy and stuff. And they can't, being real, go with the crowd. Oh, they're playing this. I got to play this. So I want to be part of the conversation.
For me, it's like, I know what I like, but I leave the door cracked open enough for something to catch my interest. But if nothing is, I'm not going to go out there and willingly jump into the deep end just because everybody else is doing it. Like that new game the vampire game, that vampire savior game, whatever. Yeah. That doesn't, to be honest, the first thing I'm like, yo, Vampire Savior, you mean Darkstalker's coming back?
Yeah. I think it's Vampire Survivors, by the way. But yeah,
yeah. Anyway, yeah. So like looking at that, I was like, nah, doesn't interest me.
Yeah. All right.
I like trying new things. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. How does it sound? Does it sound
I could talk for a little bit, Adam. Talk.
I think I know what's causing it. If it does sound better, I'm not sure if it does.
You're not cutting out now, so that's already a plus.
It's that shit. The Logitech software.
Again, damn.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't have it running, and I looked. When you look in the little small menu, it's running in the background.
Oh no!
So I shut it out and I signed back in, so that way Discord doesn't see it.
You're good now. Yeah, no
so that's what it is, and I do fresh reboot.
Yeah,
it's probably because that program has a noise canceling feature, and the way Discord works is that when it hears something, it at least you could have it set to where it's always on, or it only turns on when it hears a voice. Well, I've always turned the thing off and just left the microphone open because of just the way.
In Discord or the Logitech app? In the Discord or in Logitech app?
What?
Where did you turn that setting off? Which app?
Oh, it's in Discord. You can just leave the mic open, and because what it does is like if you're looking at your little thing. Yeah, it just what it does is it senses there's a voice going on, and then it just activates.
I'll mess with it afterwards after the show. But yeah, I think that's what it is because I shut that off. I thought I didn't have it running, but I did a fresh reboot earlier this morning, and I guess when I looked in the bottom, I saw it was running them. Because remember when I
You
first
son of a
activated,
bitch.
after I did the update, then I started doing that shit.
All right, Carlos, gaming evolution.
I guess when I was young, like I was like many people, growing up in the '90s, it's like just get whatever game is available. Whatever game I played, I played it. I brute forced the whole thing. And once I got older, I had a long, kind of dude bro phrase where I would play. I was kind of like Adam. Well, I would do is play Call of Duties, the Halos, the FIFAs, the Maddens, the 2Ks, all of those games. I would play them all the time. Each new Call of Duty, I would play them all. But I still play other games. But those, most of my time was spent playing those types of games. And then, after the 360 era, I kind of at 360 PS3 era, I kind of gaming went from like my third or fourth hobby to like my 10th or 11th hobby. So it kind of went down. Like a lot of people, the time has certainly been crunched. Sort of a lot of the gaming that goes on. But for me, different priorities in life also took over, and video games just weren't as important as they used to be. So yeah, that was kind of mine.
Cool. Oh, by the way, Brett joined us about half an hour ago. Brett, are you there, sir?
Yeah, just chilling in the cut.
Cool, man. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Awesome. So yeah, how have you evolved as a gamer over the years?
I mean, I can't really say that I have, honestly. My gaming habits have remained pretty consistent. I have less time now, but I still make time to game. I still play a lot of the same types of games. I mean, new genres have emerged. Survival has become a thing. Building games have become a thing. And I enjoy the hell out of both of those. But other than that, man, I'm pretty much the same. I still like RPGs. I still like open world games. I still like multiplayer games. Still play. I'm playing Grounded right now with two people I played Halo with in high school. So still like playing with some of the same people.
Good stuff. All right, so that's three of us who haven't really changed our habits, I guess. Adam, I guess you haven't really either, right?
No, well, that's what I was saying. I was like, no, I haven't. It's just about time.
Yeah, it's about time, yeah.
But I still play everything. That's one of the things my gamers on the Xbox.
Oh, it's happening again, by the way.
Then I don't know what it is.
All right. Brian, gaming evolution.
I don't think there's actually much I have changed exactly. Like the biggest change for me was I used to be really big into multiplayer. So those of you that know, I used to play tons of SOCOM back in the days. Wow, that sounds weird. Back in the day. So yeah, I used to love SOCOM and used to play tons of Unreal Tournament, like the OG. I think were like 2000 edition, like old school days. So yeah, I just love that. And I guess as time went on, I kind of fell off multiplayer games because they just got really samey and really boring. After Call of Duty, everything just started copying Call of Duty, and I don't enjoy the Call of Duty formula. I think it's incredibly broken in a myriad of ways. I feel like kill streaks really break the game, and in most modes they should be removed or altered so that they don't. I mean, how's it that in Domination or Ground War, people can just sit in the back and get kill streaks and not actually play the game? It's like, great. I'm out here getting flagged and stuff, and someone's just killing me and he gets rewarded and I don't. It's like, okay, fine. That's how the game wants to be played. I won't play it. So yeah, since I guess that was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I just stopped playing multiplayer games. Had no need. And also, I just became a lot more cynical of the industry, since now it's more profit driven than passion driven. So I just don't seem to care. Like when I see a game like, again, Horizon Forbidden West, I don't see any passion in there at all. I just see profit. Same thing with God of War. It's like I don't see passion in the God of War franchise. It's just kind of, how can we make money off God of War? Let's just do it again, but make it like Last of Us. Cool. Have fun with that. I'm not buying it. Literally, I'm not buying it. So yeah, it's just I've just stopped caring about. Again, this is why I don't care about AAA games, because I don't see passion in there. It's just profit, and that's all it is. So that's why you find me playing like random games that are just games you never heard of. Because most times these are games that people have made out of their passion for either an art style or they want to critique something in like a funny way. And that's the type of games that I enjoy. That's why I really enjoyed Scorn. Like, the whole game had 0 lines of dialogue, and it was really great, you know? And I jump on Twitter, and then I see videos of people solving the God of War puzzles, and it's nothing but the side characters just telling you how to solve the puzzles. And it's like, yeah, I think I chose the right game this time around. So yeah.
You weren't utterly grossed out by Scorn?
Oh yeah, I totally was, but I enjoyed it because I think that the last game that has ever gripped me that much, but without a single word of dialogue, is what's that one where you play as a cloth in the wind? It's PlayStation exclusive. They made it after Flower and Flow. No.
Flow.
After that,
No.
because Flow, Flower, and then
Journey?
Yes, that's it. Yeah, Journey was like the last game where it has 0 dialogue and it was like, yeah, this is great. You know, like this is atmosphere in its finest form. So yeah, you'll find me just playing random old games that people have never heard of. That's why when it comes like the game of the year, it's like, hey, here's my nominees, and Tony's like, what game is that?
Never heard of
Never heard of it. Never heard of it.
Yeah, that little game, Guardians of the Galaxy. No one ever heard of.
Well, I can say to you that I played a game called Going Under. Tony's like, never heard of it. Exactly.
That sounds like a porno.
Nah, yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be going down?
Going under, you know? It's an Australian porno, you know?
Exactly. Localized for those.
There you go.
So yeah, I haven't really changed much, just became more cynical and less multiplayer. And that's about it. Again, I still love my co-op games. Since Lost Planet 2, love me some co-op. Borderlands, yeah, co-op is great. And as you can tell by my 600 hours in Monster Hunter World, love me some co-op.
Good stuff. All right, Chris, how have you evolved as a gamer?
And well, I kind of respect Tumeke's answer, except my daughter's much younger, so there's just stuff I like. I can't play around her, and I have to wait till he goes to bed, like the Resident Evil games or basically any horror games. So if I get Callisto Protocol, I know I'm only playing that for a couple hours at night. Like, I can't really play it normally. But there's stuff I've kind of cut out of my gaming diet. I don't play RPGs anymore. I just don't. I find I don't have the time. I don't know. Sometimes I feel old. I used to love fighting games. Like I was the guy who after high school I'd go to the bodega. There's a bodega on Union Turnpike, and I play in there Street Fighter 2 every day. Every day I'd go in there. I'd play handball and then go there and play Street Fighter 2 every single day. And I played Street Fighter 3. I had it on Dreamcast. I had, I played Street Fighter 4. I mean, Adam has my arcade stick. That's what I used to play Street Fighter 4. I can't do it anymore. I sample a little bit. Like I played the Guilty Gear that Manny got me one year. Played a little bit of Mortal Kombat. I tried the last one. Was it 11? And I played it for 2 seconds just because they added Rambo in the game. So I'm like, oh, I play as Rambo, and I played it for like a day, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. No, I can't do it anymore. I can't go online. Forget it. Like, I would just get like smashed in 2 seconds. Fighting games have evolved in a way where everybody's playing so robotically now. The fun is gone. Like,
Yeah, I need to
like-
jump on this because I feel this so much, man. I guess that's something that's changed, Manny. I know you could agree too. Like fighting games were our shit back in the day. Loved fighting games, right? But it's not that I've changed. It's that the fighting games have changed, and the fighting game community has taken it over and stuff. Because back in the day, your fighting game community was the dudes in your neighborhood. That was it. But now you have this global community and stuff. And like Chris, like you said, it's not about the competition. It's just about winning, and that's it. It's like winning by any means necessary. In other words, cheating. So yeah, it's sad because I see these fighting games. I want to play them, but I already know. Not only, like I said, I don't have the time, and I know these guys are just gonna fucking just wax me because they're just gonna keep doing the same fucking bullshit. And then even the games themselves. Look at Street Fighter V when it first came out. That game was just.
Are you saying they have no honor?
Yeah, they don't.
They have no honor.
Yes, absolutely no honor. It's like, hey, you get a dude in a corner, back off, let him get, give him a fucking chance. No, these motherfuckers do it. Get you in a corner, do a 50 million hit combo in the air, and you can't do shit. It's like, come on, how is that fun? Is it fun for you too? Like, that's stupid. I don't even want to do stuff like that. I want to give the guy a chance, but these guys don't play with honor anymore. It's very sad what's happened with fighting games, man. Very upsetting. So I can't say I've changed with fighting games. There's still that part of me I wasn't playing, but they're not the same anymore. It's different. It fucking sucks. Anyway, go on, Chris.
Yeah. So that's something that affects me, and so I don't enjoy it as much anymore. And so I watched the Street Fighter 6 Capcom announcement. I watch people talk about it, and the excitement's not there because I like you said, I know the community. I know they're gonna figure out how many frames does it take to counter this and do this.
Yeah.
I just want to play and enjoy it. We used to go in the arcade and everyone agreed it's like don't throw, back off if he's in a corner, whatever. You had the unspoken rules that you would do, and if I threw you, okay, just throw me back or whatever. All that's gone. So I'm done with fighting games, and I still love racing games, but I don't play them as much anymore either. I played the hell out of Need for Speed. I had the original Need for Speed on the PC years ago, and I had Hot Pursuit. I love Hot Pursuit, like the original one, the PS2 Hot Pursuit. And I played Gran Turismo, but I haven't played since 4, I think. I don't know, and I just I don't know. I played Forza Horizon, I was playing with Adam a little bit, but once I did some of the missions around the map, and I was like, I'm good.
You get bored so fast with that type of game.
Yeah, you definitely get bored playing with Adam.
Oh,
no, that's not it. That's not it. It was just how Horizon's set up. It's like if you're just racing by yourself, if you're just doing the computer races, there's a lot of fetch quests in there. A lot of go take pictures around this mountain, or go to the volcano, and it's like, I thought this was a racing game.
Yeah,
I'm not doing races. I'm doing fetch quests. What's happening? So I got bored of that real fast. So I just condensed down to basic stuff. I love my Souls games. So I played the hell out of Elden Ring this year. I played Resident Evil Village. I beat the DLC that came out just a few weeks ago. So there's key things I will play. I look forward to Resident Evil 4 when it comes out. I will play the hell of that. I'm going to play Callisto Protocol. So I love my horror games. I love Resident Evil. If From Software said, hey, we got Bloodborne 2, whatever, coming out, yes, day one, I'm there. Give it to me. I'm playing Ragnarok right now, God of War. I love it. I know Brian disagrees. I still enjoy it. So I'll play that. So this is the things I've condensed down to, but it's I know those things are manageable. Whereas if you told me right now, Chris, go buy Final Fantasy 15 or whatever, I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it no more. I know the spirit's gone. It's I can't play Final Fantasy. I can't. I used to play them all the time. I burnt out. I can't do it no more.
I stopped. For me, I stopped playing Final Fantasy games at 10. After
Yeah.
10, I didn't play any more Final Fantasies.
And that's when I stopped too. At 10. 10 broke me.
Man, you
I
stopped
was like,
playing
I'm good.
RPGs as well too, right?
I mean, there's only been a few like JRPGs I've played in onset. Like maybe played a redo of the redo of Final Fantasy 3 and 4 for the Game Boy.
Yeah.
The DS or Game Boy Advance. I played those, but yeah, I sort of stopped playing official RPGs for a long time.
Yeah.
Just haven't had the time.
Yes, so that's slimmed down, but like I loved when we were playing Division 2. I would jump if you said, "Hey, let's go play some Division 2." I'd jump back on it. Once in a while, I fire up GTA 5, but much less so now than before. Like I dabble, and then I'll get out. But that's pretty much it. Like the circle of games is smaller, and plus like time, like just being a father now, the time's a factor. So I just don't have as much time as you'd like to devote to it. And some days I don't play anything. So that's pretty much how I've evolved.
Nice. All right, good stuff. Next question from Mr. Dumeke. Right, did for those that actually had a game come out this year that you were hyped for, did it live up to your expectations, or did you come away underwhelmed? I mean, for me, the big game I was waiting for this year was Ragnarok, and I loved the game, so I'm not disappointed. I'm happy, And Elden Ring too, and there's another one I was hyped for it, and it was fucking great. Elden Ring was better than I thought it was going to be. God of War is exactly what I thought it was going to be. Elden Ring is like a whole other level. So
I was expecting a lot of Elden Ring, and I was still blown away.
Yeah, I'll say this, man, because I've complained about how I haven't played a lot of games this year, which is true. But aside from Saints Row, trash, games I've played have at least been pretty damn good. Elden Ring is fucking amazing. So no, I haven't been disappointed. I can't be disappointed in Saints Row. I thought the game was going to be trash, and it was trash. So there you have it. Turtles was fucking good. That met my expectations. Horizon was also really good. That met my expectations. So no, there was nothing I played this year that I was like, fuck, that that I was hyped for, and I played. I'm like, nah, everything was good. No complaints. What about the rest of you guys?
Mine was easy. It was the WWE 2K22. I was really hyped for it because they skipped a year, and I was hoping it since they had a new development studio behind everything. Dukes was gone, and they had the 2K and a few other ones jumping. All right, let's see what happens. And it surpassed my awesome Creation Center. That's really the community. That's what made the big change there. It's great. It's solid. It's got all the modes. Enjoying it. That's my game.
Cool. Manny, you got anything?
I mean, as far as the games that I played this year, I mean, I wasn't really disappointed. I sort of knew which ones I sort of would like to play. I mean, I guess the most recent thing I'd probably have played was Stray, and then the other thing was the new Turtles game. So I've been pretty happy with what I've been able to play. I was sort of happy with with some of the links.
All right, Carlos.
Yeah. I mean, everything except for one game met my expectations. Like Tony, I haven't played a lot of games. I actually been, I don't know. I still don't have my complete thoughts, because technically for me, Halo Infinite released this year because it finally got co-op this year, online co-op. And I've been playing it with Adam, and it's fun playing. It's fun playing with other people. But I do have my thoughts, and whenever I complete that game, I'll probably talk about it more. But God of War, it's meeting my expectations. Horizon Forbidden West met my expectations. Turtles met my expectations. The one that didn't meet my expectations was Elden Ring. That one blew away my expectations. But to be fair about me with Elden Ring, I'm lower on the totem pole of Soulsborne rankings with you guys. Like Brad and Chris are at the top, and then Tony is like below them, and then I fall somewhere in between there, right below Tony. So yeah, I was really surprised by how great the game is. So that's the only one that surpassed my expectations. God of War I haven't completed yet. I still have probably half the game left. So yeah, so hopefully it does something even better, because it's a really good game, but nothing has kind of blown me away as much as my expectations were set.
Are you enjoying the game, brother?
Yeah, God of War is a good game. Brett, you already said it, but you go ahead. Elden Ring.
Yeah, I mean, Elden Ring is one of those once in a lifetime games, in my opinion, where like you're excited about it, and then the reviews say it's even better than you were excited for, and then you play it, it was even better than the reviews. Like, it's just, that never fucking happened. I don't think that's ever happened in my entire history of gaming. It happened this year.
Yeah, but I need to cut in, because I remember, Brett, I was like that. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you people, man? You guys are hyping it too much. Calm the fuck down. Again, based off of experience, right? Games that are usually that hyped up do not live up to that. Then I played, I'm like, oh yeah, you motherfuckers were right. So yeah, good stuff. Any other games you played this year that met your expectations, or maybe didn't meet your expectations?
I mean, honestly, most of the games that I played this year, like, I'm playing Grounded, and actually that surpassed my expectations for the full release. I'm like, wow, they did a really good job on this game. I'm playing God of War, and it's at least meeting my expectations. It's pretty much exactly what I expected, same as everybody says, but that's not a bad thing. If you go in, expecting a damn good steak, and you get exactly what you're expecting, all right, yeah, I mean, I may not have been surprised by how amazing it is, but my expectations were pretty high. So,
yeah, that's the thing about that's the thing about God of War. Because I did beat it. Reggie has a different. He's in the chat right now. He's like, "Oh my god, I'm fucking blown away." I think it's good. I have nothing about me blew me away, but it's exactly what I wanted out from it. Nothing more, nothing less. Good.
You know what's and without getting into any detail, what I actually really appreciate about this game is it feels like the characters are actual characters.
Yeah, I think that's better than the last game, especially Kratos. You learn more about him. It's really good, man. And Odin, yeah, like I want to talk about him like a few months later, because there's some stuff he says. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty. Like, it makes you think about shit.
I've only dealt with a couple of stuff with Odin, and yeah, he surpassed my expectations to his character.
Yeah, because you weren't expecting that. Oh,
and what?
I won't say anything. We got to be careful here. But yeah, I'll just say I won't say he is not what you think he's going. He doesn't act the way you think Odin should. Because people go in there thinking he's going to act like Zeus, right? No. You get something else entirely with this guy. And at first it threw me off, but then I'm like, okay, this actually works.
Yeah, and there are other characters that besides Odin that I'm like, whoa, you're making these actual like characters?
Yeah,
excuse me?
Yes, exactly.
So I really that's my favorite part of this game, because the combat is, even though it's better and the visuals are better, I expected those to be that way. I didn't expect the game to have characters that were actually fleshed out. And in my history with God of War, I played all the God of Wars except for was it Ascension?
Yeah, you don't need to play that one. You're good.
Yeah, that one I didn't play. But all the other ones, my biggest issue was that I fucking hated Kratos, because I felt like he was a bad character.
Interesting.
And that he was a badass, he was a badass, but I just felt like his character, it's just kind of bland and mush. But
wait, so he was a badass. He was bad and kind of an ass.
Yeah, yeah, essentially. But this Kratos, I'm like, man, like the words that he says have weight, and the decisions that he makes in this game is like man, I feel those decisions because they're fucking hard.
Well, I think you can also feel like the trauma of all of his past games. Like when he talks about like you don't trifle with gods. He speaks from experience.
Yeah,
right. Like he's done some badass things, but if you think about it, like being the hero in an adventure isn't generally a good time, right? It's it's generally trying not to die and having massive trauma visited upon you. So, like, I think it really is one of the better examples of true character building and true character arc over the lifetime of the character.
Yeah.
You feel how tired he is from those first few games.
Yeah, Brett, I'm glad you say that. Again, we're not spoiling anything because you're good. But yeah, I do like the fact that yes, you actually see the payoff of the character arcs that have been happening even from the beginning. You know, I'm like, okay, this is dope. Like they nailed that shit. You know,
and the in between conversations, like the ones like when they're just walking,
those are good too.
Those are really good. I really appreciate those.
Yeah, great writing, man. Great writing. All right, let's see here. Brian, have you even played any new games this year? Besides, you did Saints Row.
Yeah, I played a few. I'd have to go with Scorn. I was excited to play that game. I played it, and it gave me what I thought it would give me, which is very creepy atmosphere and penises everywhere. So, yeah. Apart from that, everything else that I expected to hear from other people regarding like the big games is exactly what I thought it would be. So it's like, yep, I don't need to play those games. So again, stuff like Elden Ring, Horizon, God of War. It's like, again, I thought that these games would all be in a certain category and will be praised for certain things that are being praised about. So technically, they met my expectations, but I'm not going to play them.
All right, fair enough. Chris, what about you?
Well, I'm with you guys in God of War. I think I'm a little further behind, but yeah, I agree with that. What Carlos was saying, and I like Kratos more now than I did in the 2018 game.
Yeah,
and I like. I don't know how much I can say.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, I'll be careful. I like the things he said. I like how the characters have evolved from the last game because they have evolved. It's not just this is the next game and they're exactly the same. They're not the same. So that's pretty good. They address some stuff with Atreus and his relationship with his father, but that's all I'll say about that. So I'm liking it so far. That's pretty much what I'm playing now, and I'm trying to get through that. And I haven't really played anything else. Oh, I played
Elden Ring. Don't forget about Elden Ring. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, I played the hell out of everybody knows that. I played the shit out of Elden Ring. Platinum did everything. I did all that. The one thing I will say, I got the DLC for Resident Evil Village, right? Did the Shadow of Rose thing. I'm not gonna give spoilers, but I will say, to me, the ending of that, it'll be controversial. I was disappointed in that ending to that DLC. I was just not for what Rose, what happens to her, but there's a bunch of unanswered questions for that whole thing. I'm like, it just raised more questions. I was like, I thought I was going to get some answers to some of the stuff in the main game, and the other ending, I felt robbed. So that's what I'll say about that. No spoilers.
Oh. All right, good stuff. All right. By the way, Tumeke asked us what your favorite genre is, but we've answered that before in the past. Moving on here, Killer Instinct, Reggie, for the final question of the night. What is the best written game you've ever played? Ooh, this is a good question.
Last of Us 1 for me. That's it.
All right. Because it's the only one I could think of at the top. Red Dead Redemption 2. Fucking great dialogue in that game. You know, and like Carlos said, the in-between stuff is really good in that as well, you know? That, man, the Arthur Morgan, excuse me? You know? Yeah, man, great writing. I mean, here's the Rockstar in general, man, great fucking writing in those games. You know, GTA 5 has some good writing too, you know?
Shout out to, what's that, goddamn, I'm already forgetting the name. the noir game.
Oh, L.A. Noir.
L.A. Noir.
I was
LA Noir.
yeah. You know what? That's my change my Rockstar Games. There you go. That's my answer for best friend games. They're fucking good, man. And I'm saying the current ones because I don't know about the future. We don't know what's happening.
And don't forget about that Rockstar table tennis.
Yeah, that was great dialogue too. You know. Chris, best written game.
Oh, I'd have to go with the Mass Effect.
Yeah, that was another
man.
one I had in mind too. Yep.
Yeah.
Mine.
I'll say this. I'll say the first two games that I played, that was like, I'm talking about the first one. I'm like, damn, the writing is fucking good, right? The first one was Metal Gear Solid. I was like, holy shit. Like, because you're coming off of Resident Evil corny shit, and then you come to that, and then after that was Soul Reaver. Man, Cage, Deify, shit. Like it was some good stuff. Not only that, obviously good writing, but good voice acting. It wasn't corny shit anymore. We're gonna get a Jill sandwich. None of that shit. Fucking awesome, man. Mr. Emilio.
I will have to go with the Nier games. They're pretty interesting, sort of well written sort of things. Sort of a lot of metaphor for society and all kinds of other different things that you could sort of draw connections to, and also for a Japanese game because a lot of times Japanese games run into that sort of foreignness of just because of localization and sort of stuff like that. But I have to say Nier, and I also have to say Mass Effect, and obviously the. I mean, here's the thing. Like, is there any game that has? It's rare when you get a game that is bad at it now. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some, but
I mean, you throw the Quiet Man on there, right?
Yeah. Oh,
but yeah, I mean, overall, I feel like most games have pretty good plots and they're pretty well written. Like, you're not going to get
PlayStation Roll, you'll feel differently.
I mean, for the most part,
bad plot.
For the most part, it's rare when you get a game like a Saints Row where they just removed all the teeth from the original game.
Yeah. All right. Adam already said The Last of Us. Brett, great writing in games, or great written games.
Well, wasn't it the best one?
Yeah, best one. Yeah, or your favorite. Let's just be real here.
I can't really think of a lot of times the writing has honestly stood out all that much to me. At least not in a recent memory. Like, you only get so many games that hit you like BioShock,
There's your answer.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking for my favorite one, it's probably BioShock. I think the single experience of the spoiler, the would you kindly, and kind of having you examine your actions as a player, I thought that was super meta, and honestly, one of those few moments where you're like, God damn, they really got me.
Nice.
They made it a trend too. Like, not everyone started doing that kind of stuff after they did it
in
video games, at least.
Yeah, Carlos, what's up? What about you?
I'm with Brett with the whole. I feel like most games are just cookie cutter stories. So whenever there's one that's really good, it really stands out. And I'm gonna have to piggyback off of Chris's answer. This is the Mass Effect trilogy.
Mass Effect, yeah, man.
I mean, the Mass Effect trilogy minus the last 10 minutes of the game.
Hey, which color was your favorite ending?
Yeah.
Oh, it was definitely the blue.
Oh, okay. I'm partial to the green myself, but
yeah, man. That finale was definitely flawed. But I did appreciate the most of the writing of the game, and it's just a huge ass story with a lot of characters. They all had their stories and their missions, their loyalty missions to that told their backstories and what made those characters do what they're doing. It was great, and it was this whole bigger thing. Gotta give a shout out to Halo also. Halo all the way to Reach had really good story. but not so much right now.
Oh. All right, Brian, what about you?
Oh, I actually was about to say Halo, like up to Reach as well. I really enjoyed that. After Reach, it was kind of, I'd have to go with the old and tried and true and tested, and the ones that people don't like to talk about, Witcher 3. Because for some odd reason, majority of people here have not finished Witcher 3. I don't know why, but hey.
Never played it.
But then again, I have not finished or even started Mass Effect. So there is that. And Red Dead. So yeah. Witcher 3. I just think that it has the best side quests of all time. Hands down. Again, there are other games which wish they could compete with the side quest in The Witcher 3, in my opinion. And they don't. It's like when you have a side quest that makes you just stop and walk away, and you still think about it for like a good couple of days afterwards. To me, that's an example of a well written story or quest. And again, most games I just forget like the day after. I mean, intro, I literally forgot like 12 hours afterwards. It's like, what story again? I don't know. It's just memes and weird jokes. But Witcher 3, like especially the Red Baron quest line, it's just like, it really gets you, because again, they have you in the first half, but then the second half, that's when it's like, nope, you thought this, but that's not the case. Try again. And the thing in the tree, gosh, the thing in the tree, dear Lord. Less I say about that, the better.
All right, good stuff. All right, we are done here, people. So do we have anything to plug?
Nope.
Adam.
Nothing for nobody?
Oh, we got just
Adam as usual.
Nothing yet. I mean, just the Walking Dead. We're off this week because they're setting up for the final episode. It's going to air live. Well, not live, but it's not.
You mean they doing it live?
Yeah, right. That'll be
Walking
slow
Dead live?
and boring. Yeah, that'd be weird. No, but they're not doing 1 week early on. Plus, they're just going to have it for everybody so they can all see next Sunday. Right now, episode 23 aired. Already seen a reaction to that. So if you're into Walking Dead, especially this final season, the final series finale for everything of the mothership, check out IMDb, Spotify,
YouTube.
Spotify, YouTube, on the coalition.com. That's the coalition with a K, or the coalition with a K on YouTube. Adam, by the way,
yeah, go ahead.
By the way, Adam is host the show. His voice doesn't cut out on that show though, so you guys will be good. And Richard Bailey Jr. is also part of the show. Look forward to that.
I actually do want to plug something.
Oh,
I need you guys to go over to the Coalition and check out Richard and Gary's hour-long conversation about God of War Ragnarok. They went really in depth, not only about the game, but like everything surrounding the game, and even the craft of writing a review. Very good stuff by those guys. So go check that out. Really good stuff.
Yes.
Spoiler free, so you're good. Don't worry about it. But yeah, really good in-depth conversation there. It was basically because Gary hadn't played the game yet, and Richard had beaten it. So it's like Gary's asking him a bunch of questions about it. Gary being a big God of War fan himself. So yeah, good stuff, man. Go check that out over in the Coalition, and also on those aforementioned podcast apps. They're everywhere, just like we are.
Coalition.
Good stuff. All right. So anyway, you can follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join our Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. You can search for us on any podcast app. Throwdown Show, 2 words, Throwdown Show. Throwdownshow.com to listen to previous episodes. And if you have been watching us on YouTube and enjoyed the content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when our premieres go live. Links to everything down below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Adam Vale.
Have a good week, everybody.
Brett Murdoch. And Brian Manjoma.
First, Rocksteady killed Batman, and then Rocksteady killed Batman, And now Batman's dead.
Oh man! Shout out to Kevin Conroy, by the way, the real Batman.
peace.
You know, the real Batman. All right, people. We'll see you on Thursday. Later.
Peace.
Latest.
Latest.
Shout out to Adam West.
You know.